You understand English far better than you could speak it yourself? I've been there too, and so this video is for you. When I was in class 5, I couldn't form a single proper sentence in English, and when I graduated from school, I sounded somewhat like this.
I want to know what goes on inside their little brains. They are crazy, yeah?
In fact, I just graduated from school 1.5 years ago. So what happened? And how did I get to this point right now where I can speak quickly and effortlessly? First and foremost, this video is based on the presumption that you understand a fair bit of English already. Otherwise you wouldn't be watching it. So it's not going to be a how to learn English from scratch. And there are two situations. Either you live in an English-speaking country already, or you don't, and you just want to improve your English from home for your future. Either way, let's just dive straight into it, and the first point is that you are willing to improve. I've seen many people here in Australia who lived here for decades, but still speak English with a very thick accent. And how is that possible? It's certainly not because they are stupid or anything, just because they never actively tackled the language. They never reprogrammed their mouth movements, how to pronounce certain sounds which don't exist in their native language. For us Germans, the TH sound is most challenging.
We are sinking! We are sinking!
This is the German Coast Guard. What are you thinking about?
It's something everybody can learn if you just talk to natives or look up explanations how to produce these sounds, how you position your tongue in your mouth, like between your teeth, and then breathe out and produce that sound. The. And then you have to get used to it. You have to be willing to be corrected. It's a walk of shame, more or less, but in the end, at the end of the day, it's gonna be the best for you. When I came to Australia, I had no opportunity to fall back on German, so I had to speak English. I spoke with lots of mistakes, but only because of that, I am where I am right now. While not being able to speak English fluently, after living in an English-speaking country for years, is a bad example of immigration. Not everybody will be able to live in that country of their target language, like Australia, USA, or Great Britain. And that's alright. You can learn, or you can get there to fluency from home. But note that you will learn so much faster outside in real life situations. The reason for that is that you always remember certain concepts or words better when they occur. That you always remember certain concepts or words better in situations where they occur with real life situations, because they always have a certain emotional bond to it. Emotional connections always stick better. I can still remember so many words that I have learned here in Australia. I've heard them for the first time and I picked them up as soon as I heard them for the first time. I didn't need to review them and look after them again. For instance, I remember the situations back then when I still was living in Sydney. I had a stomach bug. This is also a word I learned in that context, a stomach bug. And after I came out of the toilet, I said to my roommate, I said something like, "Oh, my stomach hurts and I think I ate something wrong." And he asked, "Did you have diarrhea?" And without asking, I knew what diarrhea means, because just in that context, in the whole scene. But now I'm realizing maybe he asked me because he heard it. I hope not. Never mind, let's not think about it. But words like these stick right from the beginning because I remember the situation in which this word came up. Yeah, so diarrhea is a vocabulary that I just picked up on the go. So the rule is, the closer you are to real life situations, the better and the faster you learn. How to do that from home? I'll get there in a minute. First of all, to sum it up, the way is continuous correction. Get a dictionary app and it's gonna be your best friend. So when I just came to Australia, I literally picked up my phone like 30 to 50 times per day. Just when I came across a new word, I typed it into my dictionary straight away, which is dict.cc. For instance, a word I just heard today or a few days ago was reluctant, and I was not familiar with it. Look it up, see the translation, easy, and keep going. Looking words up constantly has a lot to do with your attitude of, do you really want to improve in that language? I'll get there again in a minute. First I want to say, I started first with writing down the words, or not really like on paper, but I created a mind map, which was so stupid. I mean, I was motivated, but afterwards I realized it just takes too much time. I absorbed like 30 to 50 new words per day, and I just couldn't catch up with it. So what you can just do is you look up the words, and at the end of the day you can review them, because you can go back, what words did I look up today, and you just head into the next day. Secondly, it is crucial that you just observe and then apply. At work, I once wanted to describe something, but I was not sure how to pronounce the word distribute. I thought, is it pronounced distribute or distribute, something like this. I wasn't sure. So I just said, do we have to distribute this pile over there, the dirt, blah blah? And then the guy I was talking to, he just said, no, I think we will distribute it later. And I heard, distribute. So this is how it should be pronounced. And this is what I mean by observing. You listen exactly to how people speak. Don't just pick it up and keep going. You think about how they say certain things and aim for speaking correctly and not just being understood. I'll give you two situations with the word bonnet. I think the battery is empty. We need to open this thing here, this...
You mean the bonnet?
Yeah, anyway, help me how to open it. Oi, I think my battery is flat. We might need to open this, what do you call it, the lid of the car, so to say.
Bonnet.
Bonnet. How do you spell it? B-O-N-N-E-T? Alright, I have to remember the word. Okay, so, help me. So what is the difference? You see in the first clip, our beautiful and talented actor, he's just trying to beat around the bush, and as soon as he gets corrected about the word you're looking for is bonnet, he says like, yeah, alright, okay, you know what I mean. Like, you know what I mean. There's like the typical attitude of people who can speak a language, but very broken, and honestly just doesn't sound nice. Of course they can communicate, but they don't want to improve. They just say, yeah, there's a word I didn't know, blah blah. But the second situation shows this attitude of, okay, I learned a new word and I adopt it into my vocabulary. You can only learn from your mistakes if you know your mistakes, and you shouldn't consider it as something harmless. It is not harmless if you don't know a word. It's not something like, yeah, I didn't know how to say that, but you got me. No, it's you didn't know a word, and if you would know it, you would be able to speak that sentence fluently. And it's not a shame. You can just ask, and that's not a problem. So in the beginning, your most used phrases will be something like, I don't know what you mean, I don't understand, can you please explain again in other words? Or how do I say tim, how do I put this? And it's alright. Now, at home, this exposure can only be achieved by watching lots of videos and TV shows in English, or whatever you prefer doing, listening to podcasts on the way. And they show so many real-life situations which maybe you don't even encounter at all in your boring life. And so you actually don't need to be in another country to have all these situations where you are in a shop, or where you're at work, or you eat with somebody, or you have compliments, you accept compliments, you give compliments. You have weird situations, but you handle them because you can speak the language. You don't need to experience all these moments because you can see them in movies. And actually, I learned so many words just through movies where these words were used, but in real life I never heard these words, but I know they can come up. For example, the expression copy that. It's more in a military context. I learned that in a Netflix show. And then I also started using it and started hearing it a lot at work. Of course, this can only be applied if you understand something. I had a phase in my teenager years when I discovered YouTube as like my biggest platform for entertainment, and I watched a lot of stuff that interested me, which was only available in English, and so I had to watch it and expose myself to it. I remember when I started watching Peaky Blinders in English, I almost understood nothing. However, it's even worthwhile if you only understand half of it. It's better than not exposing yourself to English at all. Shadowing is a vital technique to practice your pronunciation, which you can do from home. You just repeat whatever is being said. I explained it already in my language learning video, check it out here. You can even record yourself, send it to a native if you don't have native English speaking friends or others who are fluent. Just download the app HelloTalk. It's not sponsored, but this is an app I can really recommend. You get in touch with people whose language you want to learn and they're interested in your native language, so you can ask each other questions and you can also send back and forth audios and correct each other. Alright, all of that now is not comfortable and very demanding. At work I listen to a lot of Chinese repeat programs where they just read out sentences slowly, and I listen to it while working, and it's really hard because I'm doing something physically and I have to concentrate on what I'm listening to, but I have to force myself listening to it. I also would rather listen to music or something entertaining, but remember, if you continue, your future you will always be better at that language than your current you, but you have to go through it. So now, lastly, let's briefly talk about grammar. We learned English grammar in school, and I still remember some of it. We had to fill in like the right tenses and stuff. And even if I had quite good grades, it didn't help me to speak fluently. My English back then was totally broken. I never studied grammar again since I'm in Australia, because let's be honest, English grammar is so simple. You don't need to write down overviews or summaries or this rubbish. You don't need it. You will pick it up on the way. You will get used to it, which expressions are correct and which are wrong. Especially if you're getting corrected, please heed it and consider it as something precious, that you now know how to say something right or how to formulate a sentence right. So there is no need to study grammar actively because it can be acquired naturally very quickly. However, it's not bad to know certain grammar points, and if you don't understand certain things like how to use past tenses or conditional sentences, there are heaps of videos that explain it in depth. Now, let's wrap it all up. First of all, there are no shortcuts to fluency. It's a long trail of try and error, but you fail yourself up. You become better and better every time. Secondly, you can only get to fluency if you observe and listen closely. The key point for fluency is not just exposure. As I said, there are many people living in an English-speaking country and they still cannot speak fluently. What truly matters is the right attitude. The attitude that you want to get to fluency. And please just believe me, that's the key point. And I hope I could convey this clearly enough in this video. Alright, I hope this helps. Bye bye, tschüss, auf Wiedersehen, das Vidania, Wale, 再见.